Hello everybody, MakeZX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting video. And if you haven't already looked at the calendars already, it is March 3rd of 2023. Rewind the calendar back some years, odd years ago, 6 years ago in fact. March the 3rd, 2017, that's when the Nintendo Switch finally dropped, coming off of a very unsuccessful lifetime with the Wii U. It took a lot of aspects that it struck right with that console, made it a whole lot better, and now it's the third overall highest selling console of all time as of this point in recording and dropping out here on YouTube though. And man, the launch lineup games that we got from like Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Mario Odyssey and stuff, and then every game that we gotten since then though, man, it's been a phenomenal system to have, and this hybrid nature of being able to take it on the go, docking on your TV at home, playing on the big screen. It's been a really nice console though. So with it having to be, you know, the Switch's 6th birthday and having to go into its 7th year on the market, you know what? You know, usually when you're thinking around year 6, it's about that time to think of, you know, what comes after the current generation we're on right now. And some of y'all might have been thinking about Switch Pro. No, that ship has gone and sailed. No, we ain't talking about that. I'm talking about what's coming next generation for Nintendo after the Switch. Because I feel like after this year in 2024, that might be the earliest that we might either hear about it or hopefully we might actually get it in our hands though. So in today's video, I wanted to go through and talk about all the different changes I would like to see from us transitioning from the Nintendo Switch to whatever next generation console we'll get next for the Nintendo console. I like to point out all the things I would love to see in terms of like how the console will work, the concept, the games, the services, and everything else, the UI and all that stuff. I like to talk about all that stuff I would love to see in the next generation Nintendo system. But if you haven't already done so, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell. That way you can stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Alright, so first on the list, let's go ahead and talk about how those games run, or the form factor, you know, those really important concepts of what could the next generation Nintendo system be. So first up, I want to say, hopefully this next system has 4K, like, you know how like on the PlayStation 5 as well as like Xbox Series X has that big 4K label up on there or whatnot though. I want that to be right there on the box saying that yes, this system supports up to 4K. Now whether or not that can be running it natively or whatnot though, that will be yet to be seen, but I know that through the NVIDIA stuff that we've been kind of getting through with some information bits here and there though, I'm pretty sure they will go about it in a different way via upscaling or the AI upscaling and whatnot though. It'll be a different way instead of natively running it, but it's like an artificial way of doing it though. But whatever way they got to get it out there to do it, hey, you got to have that 4K on that next system. That'd be something I really would like to see. Now in terms of that form factor though, I still think that the next system will still be a hybrid system. I cannot see another Nintendo generation where we have the market split between handheld like 3DS and home console like Wii U, handheld like DS, home console like Wii. I don't see us doing that going back to that form factor. It works so much better being able to have all of that in one, and you don't have to worry about like two different markets. So I still think it's gonna very much have that same hybrid nature. And with it, that means hopefully that I really want to see this console be backwards compatible with the Nintendo Switch games. Kind of similar to how with the 3DS, how, you know, it's backwards compatible with the DS. You know, the only thing that they made a little difference was that little bit of an extra notch that was on the 3DS cartridge. That way you couldn't stick it in a DS cartridge and make it mess up. Whatever way they got to do with the cartridges, because it's still going to be cartridge based. At least that's what I'm thinking of. Just do something like that with a cartridge where it fits in there in a certain way where it only works on the next generation, but it doesn't necessarily work on the old ones though. So that's what I would really love to see as well. Just being able to support backwards compatibility, and with it also doing that with the system hopefully being that much stronger, hopefully to the equivalent level of being on the level with like Xbox 4, or I said Xbox 4. on the same level as PS4 and Xbox One at a bare minimum. It could shoot for higher, but that's just what I'm kind of shooting for right now, though. Hopefully, it takes even those rough games like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, where it has like those frame drops, whatever, though. If you were to, play that on this newer system, though, it actually will help the performance out a little bit more, though. So that's at least my big major hopes on that, though. And also, with it being backwards compatible, I really want us to be able to have the same Nintendo accounts, which they've been kind of showing that little that little graph, or where they're saying, hey, we want our Nintendo accounts to continue on into the future, though. I really want them, as long as it's backwards compatible, and you still have those eShops up there, though, with all those amazing games. I want us to be able to carry everything that we bought on our eShop, whether it be digitally or something like that. So you bought Animal Crossing digitally, you bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe like myself digital. If I get that new generation system, I can go into the eShop and I can re-download all of the previous older generation stuff like that on the console. That was some stuff I really would like to see right there. Now that we talked about some of the basic overall concepts, let's dive into the actual UI of the system and see what kind of changes I would like to see it with that system, though. First off, I wanted to go ahead and talk about how I really want there to be some themes. Yes, we did not necessarily get themes when in the Nintendo Switch Live time, though. And it's kind of strange because in the 3DS we actually had themes, but then for some oddball reason we never got Switch, unless you count that basic black and white theme or whatnot, though. I mean, you can kind of, I guess it kind of counts, but in my head it really doesn't. I would love to see it, and hopefully on a powerful console, because I feel like one of the reasons why they may have not included it originally was because they're trying to make things super snappy. Because the Wii U, oh man, going from like app to app, it was kind of slow. Switch, you click on the icon, boop, and it just popped up real fast, though. So that's one thing I would love to see. So with that increased power, hopefully themes don't necessarily hold it back, though. Also, I want to see on here native voice chat. Now, granted, yes, I know you can technically do voice chat through the Switch Online app and stuff like that on the Nintendo Switch, though, but it's weird how you see other games that are like those free-to-play games, such as like your Fortnites or whatnot, though, they're able to run voice chat natively on the system if you happen to be playing the system in handheld mode, because you had the audio jack. I feel like the main reason why we didn't necessarily get that update for the Nintendo Switch is because if you look at your Pro Controller or your Joy-Cons or whatnot, though, there's not a audio jack at the bottom, so it makes it inconvenient unless you just had like a 10-foot cord that was literally running from your headset all the way over to your Switch that's actually docked into your dock. Then I'm like, hey, that just wasn't going to be completely feasible, though. So make these next controllers, your Switch Pro or your Pro controllers or whatnot, though, the traditional form factor, and whatever kind of crazy gimmicky thing, if you're going to do something with the Joy-Cons and carry those over, make sure that you have either adapters for them or natively on those controllers have the audio jack on there. That is something I would really love to see right there. And also, I would love to see capture footage being able to be captured longer than 30 seconds, because right now on the Switch you can only do it up to 30 seconds and that is it. When you look at other places of competition, like for example the PS5, you're able to actually capture 30, 15, 30, 45, a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, almost up to a whole hour. I don't expect anything to be that crazy large in terms of recording things, but even if it lets us get up to 3 or maybe even 5 minutes, hey, 5 minutes is almost a full Splatoon match or a full Smash Brothers match right there, though. So I don't know, maybe up to 5 or something like that. I would love to see something like that play out, though. But yeah, that's just a few things within the UI level that I would just love to see Nintendo kind of expand upon and build upon it. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about the cell phone app. Yes, the Nintendo Switch Online app. I know not a lot of people use it. Maybe if you happen to be someone that owns Splatoon, that might have been the biggest use of using that app, though. But we're gonna scrap that dang down. Hold on here real quick. Just follow me here. Just follow me, though. Instead of doing a Switch Online app, let's just make it a global overall Nintendo app. Something similar to like how PlayStation has their app that you're able to download on your phone, and I want them to do some very similar things like the competition. I want them to be able to, you just tap on that app, browse anything that's on the eShop. So that would be anything that's like on the Nintendo Switch or the new generation systems. You're able to scroll through whatever you want, buy it on your phone, and then be able to send it straight over there to your console. It's not much different from comparison to what you do on the Nintendo.com website, where you're literally able to look up games on there, add eShop funds, buy whatever you want, and send it over there. It's the same concept what you do on the desktop, just put it there on the phone, but not necessarily tie it up to online members or whatnot though. Then also, if you want to still do the, you know, the nice little knickknacks or you want to include with your online games or whatnot though, have a sub feature within that app that says the online tab, and then you can go into those individual games like your Splatoon 3s or your Animal Crossing or your Smash Brothers Ultimate or whatnot though. Then you can go underneath each one of those, so that way it's also backwards compatible still with the previous system, like how I want the system to be though, and whatever else new to it though. You can have your whole section for your online stuff. Now also, I still want there to be an option for voice chat. I already talked about earlier how I want it to be mandatory to have it on the system level, but then also have it as an option to be able to do it on your phone as well, because even PlayStation allows you to do that. But the main kicker I want to see is messaging. Be able to do messaging on the Switch system itself, but then also being able to do it on your phone. You're able to do it on your phone, be able to send out like a quick message to people, whatnot though. It pops up that notification over there on top of their, in the like top right corner of their TV saying, hey, somebody sent you a message or whatever. That's the way how PlayStation does their stuff though. I would love to see Nintendo do a really strong iteration of that though. Just being able to communicate when you want to go online to play certain games. It'd just be really nice and super convenient though. So yeah, so honestly, I would love to see just a global app where you're able to do all your purchases and all of that stuff, interact with friends, message, voice chat, do the whole 9 yards with her, and then have like certain things that tie with the online service. Nintendo can go crazy with that one sub tab on there, so that way it can kind of incentivize you to pick up an online subscription service, whether it's the base tier or the expansion pack tier and yada 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 though. So yeah, that's some things I would love to see upgraded within the mobile side of things. Lastly, let's go ahead and talk about the Nintendo Switch Online service, or technically with this new generation system, they're probably going to have to rebrand it to something else, the Nintendo Online service or something like that. We'll just go with that though. But for this Nintendo Online service, from day one, I want them to be able to carry every single thing that we gotten over from the Nintendo Switch Online service, put that mess on there on day one. So that means NES, SNES, N64, your Sega Genesis, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance, all the games that are currently on there, the second that mess rolls over to the new system, I don't want this to be trickle feed out, I don't want to be drip feed, I don't want it to be a complete reset. Everything needs to carry over, because literally, like everything we've been looking at, those graphs from the Nintendo investor meetings and whatnot though, they literally been iterating upon this, how they want to carry over their Nintendo account systems and accounts as overall, just to carry that over into the next system. I think through the Switch Online service, it has to be a given. And the fact that you won't necessarily just drop support cold with your previous generation, that being the Switch, you literally have to carry all this mess over, because people are already kind of locked in with their online accounts and whatnot though. So it has to be confirmed, it has to be established, they have to do this mess right from day one. And I would love to see an expansion upon, like, just throw a whole bunch of games for NES, SNES, N64, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, as well as Genesis games. I would love to see just a massive drop, just like across the board on all of that, so benefit the current Switch players as well as, you know, other people that are about to make the jump over to the next generation system though. I would love to see all of that though. So if you can't drip feed that mess, Nintendo, you got to give it to us. Then also, I want them to be able to add Wii and GameCube games onto the service at some point. I know it's kind of trivial with this stuff, because you know, Nintendo could be looking at a lot of those GameCube games and be like, oh, we can just remaster that. We have prime examples of it, no pun intended though, but prime examples of it with Metroid Prime. They literally remastered that and brought that service up over there. You see other companies doing it as well with third-party games as well, such as Byte and Katos and whatnot though. So it's like, you know, a lot of people can pull upon the game GameCube games, you know, just upscale it, you know, fix out those textures and whatnot, and it can look really good and they can sell it as an individual game. But I would love to see the classics still be able to be offered on that service though. Yes, I also would like to see, you know, GameCube online controller for it though. Same thing with the Wii one. The Wii will be a little bit weird because technically you're not using the IR sensor bar. It probably would incorporate some kind of gyro. So wouldn't it be technically a one-to-one exact feeling thing unless they gave you the adapter bar and plugged it into your Switch as a dock? I don't know. That'd be kind of weird though. But I would love to see them be able to port and bring those games over to the Switch online service at some point. Whether or not that's like a brand new tier that's like even upgraded higher from the expansion pack tier, I mean, who's to say yet in terms of that though? But I would love to see it because it'll be easier bringing GameCube and Wii games over than it would be entirely for it to be possible with the DS or the 3DS, because you had dual screens and that's going to be a whole lot harder to do as long as this new system's still operating off of one screen. And lastly, for the Switch Online service, I would love for them to expand upon those game trials. Because right now, currently on the Switch, they do these game trials where you're able to play the game, download the game, play the game in its full entirety for a whole entire week. And then once that week is up, then you can carry your save progression over to the full game. You can even buy the game on discount and whatnot though. I just want there to be a full-on evolution of this. Kind of similar to how PlayStation kind of does it with their PlayStation Plus subscriber thing though. I would love to see them. I don't know, I highly doubt they would do anything like this for their first party games where they're giving those away technically within a service or whatnot though, outside of your classic stuff. But in terms of indie games, in terms of certain select third party games, it will be nice to have a handful of titles come to us every single month and you're able to claim them each and every month. So, you know, the month of June, they might give you something like Celeste, Undertale, and some crazy third-party game or something like that. Let's say The World Ends With You or whatnot though. Those are the first 3 games they give you for the month of June right there though. And in July, they give you something else or whatnot though. As long as they claim them in the month of June, they're yours to keep until your online service thing expires and you can renew it, get them back. But as long as you have them active and you claim them in that period, they're yours to keep. I would love to see some kind of basic tier just like that. Just expand upon, instead of it just being a trial service thing, just fully give us those games. That way you could technically charge a little bit more for your online service, or that way it'll probably be your most premium tier or whatnot though. I don't see them including any kind of first party games in there. Nintendo, you could surprise me. You could do something like that though. I'm certainly not expecting it considering how many people go out in droves and buy your games physically or digitally alone. And probably it's going to be at a $70 tier. I'm just preparing all of that right now. It's probably going to be $70 for each one of them though. But I don't expect it. But hey, I mean, maybe with a certain budget title, you just never know with Nintendo. They're the kings of left field though. But honestly, it'll be really nice for them to be able to add certain games to their service where you're able to freely claim them, you know, from month to month to month or whatnot though. And then who knows if they actually will have like just a solid catalog tier where it's like we give you a whole bunch that's equivalent to the PlayStation Extra tier, where they just give you a whole bunch of games. Not expecting first parties, but you know, it's fully within the realm of possibility with certain third parties and indie games. So I would love to see that as well. So those are all the ideas I have as of now for everything I would love to see in the next generation system from Nintendo that comes after the Nintendo Switch though. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all do you think about all the ideas I happen to randomly throw out there? Do you agree on some of the ideas I threw out, or do you have some ideas of your own, something that I didn't even mention that you would love to see within the next generation system as well? Just leave all your thoughts down in the comment section down below. But that's gonna do it in terms of this video here. So if you really like this, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing in the foreseeable future though. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.